Who are we voting for? Meet the candidates. Who Are We Voting For was created so we could understand who the candidates are and what they are about. This is not an endorsement for any candidate. This is for the voter to be more educated about who we're voting for.
Hi, my name is Thomas West, and I'm a small business owner in the city of Pittsburgh. I was actually born in a small town in Greene County back in 1976. It's called Waynesburg. Some people have heard of it, some people haven't. And most of my childhood was spent between Greene County and Fayette County. In fact, I got my first job at the age of 15 at the Eaton Park in Uniontown. I say that because a lot of people seem to know that Eaton Park for some reason along Route 40. So that's where I started my journey in working. And I graduated from a very small high school in Greene County called Carmichael's. I think my graduating class had maybe like 90 people. So it was very small, very small. Everyone knew each other, very small community. Then I went off to college and I wanted to study meteorology. So I went up to Vermont in a small college called Linden State College because it was second in the nation after Penn State for meteorology. And I didn't want to do something huge like a Penn State. Especially when you're dealing with math and calculus and all that stuff. So I went in a small setting. Went up to Vermont, went there for 4 years, and went all the way up to Calculus 3 and Physics 3. And at some point, I wasn't having fun anymore, but I was getting a minor in communications. So I decided to flip and graduated with a major in communications and fell into TV news producing, which I did for 15 years. Happened to be good at it, who knew? And I won awards. I won an Edward R. Murrow Award, which was probably like the highest award I've gotten, which was really cool, and some other awards as well. But it was really cool. And I got to move all over the country working for TV stations from Burlington, Vermont to Minneapolis to Pittsburgh to Columbus, Ohio, and back to Pittsburgh. I worked at WTAE and WPXI. My last stint was at WTAE for 7 years. And then I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. My mom always said that, you know, I had it in me. She always saw it in me that I was being an entrepreneur. And she would always buy me I would have a little toy register when I was a kid, and I would always sell things in the house, and it was a lot of fun, and that's some memories there. But I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I thought, I'm not getting any younger. Why not become a small business owner? And I thought, as a normal guy, just living every day, what's one of my biggest complaints? And that would have been, I can't find any clothes to wear, any stores specifically geared toward guys. So I was like, well, let's try to solve that. And in 2014, I opened up a small business in East Liberty called Trim. It was a men's clothing store. I started off with swimwear, underwear, and socks. The fun part is it was a family endeavor. My family got together, my partner Adam and I, my family, his family, we all got together. We built all the displays by hand. You know, it was a great time. And it was a very bonding moment for all of us. And so every year that we celebrate me being in business, it's almost like a celebration between both families because we both had a huge role in getting me started. But I started off in East Liberty in a small little space. My landlord, she loved small businesses. So she gave me, you know, she helped me out, you know, gave me a good deal, and spent 8 years in that small space, outgrew it. And one day my partner and I were driving down the road, and he loves looking at, I think it's like LoopNet or NetLoop, whatever it is. And he found this space in Lawrenceville. He's like, oh my God, check this out. And so I did, and I was thinking, oh man, this is gonna be outrageously expensive, but it wasn't too bad. And we looked at it, and we were able to actually buy the building after 8 years of being in business. And so we did, moved down to Lawrenceville about 3 years ago. And now I have a 2-floor men's retail store right along Butler Street, and going strong right now. It's successful. I just on 412 Day, I celebrated my 11th year in business. And I didn't expect to open up a 412, and I didn't realize it was 412 Day until probably like 2 years into it. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 412 Day. That just adds a little extra flavor to it. So we make sure that, you know, when I celebrate my anniversary for my store, you know, 412 is there. But I live in Highland Park now. I have a partner. We will be together, Adam, for 15 years this October. I have 2 dogs, great, 2 mini golden doodles. They're half sisters. They get along perfectly. And yeah, so I moved to Pittsburgh in 2001, got my job at WPXI right after 9/11, and just one of my goals when I did work in TV was to actually end up in Pittsburgh and work for TV stations here in Pittsburgh, because I love the city, I always have. And I was dating somebody in Minneapolis at the time, and I was like, you know what, I'm not having fun in Minneapolis. I want to get to Pittsburgh. So I quit my job in Minneapolis and moved to Pittsburgh without a job, with just some savings, and worked my butt off and got a job at WPXI. And I always do that. I'm not afraid of challenges, and I jump in with both feet. So that's what I did. That's how I came back to Pittsburgh, got a job at PXI, moved to Columbus, came back to WTAE, and wrapped up my TV career there. But yeah, I mean, we're living the life. We love the city of Pittsburgh. We love the neighborhoods. We love the walkability of a lot of the neighborhoods. So yeah, my partner's from Southern West Virginia. He came up for medical school, and then he met me, and I didn't allow him to leave. So that's how it all worked out. Working in TV news, you have to make fast decisions. You have to make them constantly. You have to shake up your day almost every day. There are deadlines you have to meet. And working in TV news made me realize, it honed my skills, better my skills in meeting deadlines, making quick decisions, getting everyone on board as you have to make these quick decisions, because you have to go on air. That's just one of the things that helped me with my skills. But the other thing too is small business. I jumped in with 2 feet into opening up a small business. I've never done that. I didn't know anything about owning a business, but I learned on the fly, and I learned to go. I learned on the go. That is one of the things that I'm able to do. I've trained myself to do that. It's been now 15 plus 11 years. I was at 26 years of doing all this stuff. I'm an outsider in all this, so I'm able to think of things differently. And I think because I worked in TV news, you always have to think of what's coming next. Because you're a small business owner, you have to think about what's coming next. So you always have to be competitive. And so I'm a competitive person. I was diehard competitive when it came to TV news, because you were forced to be, and because you want the best newscast, and obviously I won awards doing that. But also being a small business owner, no matter where you are or what kind of business you have to be competitive. You have to look for what's next. You have to look at ways to changing with the times. And if you don't, you're not going to make it. So I think all that wrapped up, and the fact that I have a new way of thinking, I think those are skills that you need to be the next mayor. You have to live, as a small business owner, also living on a budget. You have to make sure that you follow your budget. You have to listen to your customers, because if you don't listen to your customers, you're not going to be in business much longer. If you don't follow your budget, you're not going to be in business much longer. So all those skills are things that I've had to do over the 25 years, 26 years from TV to owning my own business. And those are skills that are desperately needed when it comes to the mayor of Pittsburgh. I never thought about getting into politics. Never did. I'm a small business owner and former TV news producer, and I just love this city. But a couple things happened. My partner and I were attacked downtown in what I call an attempted carjacking. The guy demanded that we take him to our car. We decided not to. He pushed it against the wall. That was a moment where I knew that was a scary moment. I knew that there's something up with public safety. But owning my own small business, and this goes across the political spectrum, I've had tons of people come into my store, and we have conversations all the time with my friends across the political spectrum. I don't care who you are. I like people. I like hearing ideas. I like having conversations with people. And no matter where you were across the political spectrum, you always heard the same complaints continuously about how the city was run, how the city is always behind the times, and all this stuff. So I personally was getting frustrated as a small business owner of how I was being treated by city government. It was kind of hands off. You felt like you were kind of taken for granted, which as a small business owner, you don't want. You want to feel like you're appreciated, because you're creating jobs. It's the backbone of a lot of our main streets. But with that being said, I feel like after hearing all these complaints across the political spectrum, I was thinking, what, I could either hear these complaints, be part of the complaints, or I can actually jump in and try to do something. And I know, I've always heard the city of Pittsburgh always goes a certain way. It's going to be an uphill battle. Again, I'm not afraid of challenges, but I could either jump in and do something, or I could just hear the complaints and watch the city shrink a little bit more, which I didn't want to do. So I said, what? I was talking to my partner, Adam. We had long discussions about this, and he's like, what? If there's anyone who can get in there to try to do something different, it would be you. So I did, and I got my family involved. He's involved. And a lot of small business owners and owners of businesses in general are supporting me. And I'm getting support actually through across the political spectrum. So all that together was, I think, prompted me to run. I never thought I would do it, but now I'm in it, and I actually want to get the city back on track and get it growing again. The city of Pittsburgh is actually facing a lot of challenges right now, whether it's from the budget, public safety, police force, the numbers are down, whether it's the fact that we're losing businesses, the fact that since 1960, we've lost 400,000 people in just our 55 square mile area. That's a huge, I feel like those are emergencies. If there's ever an emergency in the city of Pittsburgh, that would be an emergency. All those combined, those are headwinds that we're facing right now, and that's keeping us from growing. We can't let that happen. You know, we're 2,000 people away from becoming a third-tier city. That means fewer dollars when it comes federally and state. We can't do that. We used to be up to 700,000 people. As a small business owner and a resident in the city of Pittsburgh, a lot of times I feel, and I know the people I know, feel like we're being taken for granted. We're not being listened to. Decisions are being made behind closed doors, and we keep growing smaller. We're not growing larger. And that's an issue. If we want to be part of the future, if we want to be a city of the future, if we want prosperity to come back to our neighborhoods, if we want small business owners, entrepreneurs to have a chance in the city, we have to start listening to them. There's a reason why all these people have left the city of Pittsburgh, and we need to change that. We need to listen to why they left, and we need to make changes so that they come back and that more entrepreneurs and families want to live in the city of Pittsburgh. That means tackling issues of crime. That means definitely transparency. There's too much behind closed door meetings that are happening. And that also means the economics, and too many neighborhoods have been left behind. If you just drive through the city, if you talk to neighbors in the city, I've gone door to door in a lot of neighborhoods, and they all tell me the same thing. They have the same complaints for decades, and nothing is being done. There are neighborhoods in the city that are focused on routinely, but there are so many others that are not. And there are a lot of good people in the city doing great things, and I don't care what political spectrum you're on, where you fall on the political spectrum. If you have a good idea, we need to listen to you. There are too many people who've been left out of the conversation for far too long. That means, you know, middle of the road Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Libertarians, all left out of the conversation. And I feel if you bring all those people back to the table and you have conversations and you focus on issues that are keeping us back, we can uncap ourselves with a lot of these ideas that haven't been heard. And they haven't been heard because we have the same core group of people always running the city. And I want to uncap it and live up to our full potential. Like I said, I got into this after talking to my friends across the political spectrum, after talking to my family, after being a small business owner and hearing from my customers. There are a lot of complaints out there. There are a lot of issues. And I feel like every election cycle we have or we're in, we have the same issues, and those same issues there's no resolution to these issues. It's like the same issues over and over again. Every 4 or 5 years, we get the same issues, and we get excited because there could be change coming, and then it doesn't. And then 5 years later, we're smaller, stagnant at best, and it's time for that to end. Like, let's move forward. Let's leave our baggage behind. Let's move forward and try to get a city where entrepreneurs can exist, where families can live and make a living. And here's the other thing too. We're good when it comes to tech, eds, and meds. That's great. Universities. My family was a blue-collar family. A lot of them worked in the coal mines. They didn't go to college. They graduated high school. My grandparents didn't even finish grade school, but they had opportunities to make something of themselves. And I feel like there are too many families out there that if you don't go to college, you don't have that opportunity to make something of yourself. And that can happen. We have to make sure that we have industries for all types of people. If you're not interested in tech, eds, and meds, fine. Let's get a trade. Let's help you start your own business. Let's create industries where you can build something with your hands. Those are things that we're missing in the city of Pittsburgh, and I think that's what's holding us back. When we hold people back because they don't go to college, you're holding the city back, and we're not living up to our full potential. That's huge with me. I also want to tap into high schoolers. There's a lot of ambition in this city. There's a lot of ambition. When I had my business in East Liberty, I had women coming in from Homewood, from Lincoln Limington, asking me how to start their own business. I didn't have all the answers. I told them what I knew. And then I had high schoolers from the Obama Academy coming into my store. There's one in particular, a guy came in, he had his own t-shirt company. He wanted to know how to take it to the next level. When I hear these things and I have these conversations, and that didn't end there. That was the start of me realizing there's a lot of ambition in this city. We just have to tap into it. There's so many people out there, and we can use that ambition to help transform neighborhoods, to get them economically viable again. That's an important part of what needs to happen in this city, and it's not happening. When you go into neighborhoods and you have abandoned buildings, you have empty lots, and you have no hope, it's hard to get things moving, but if we get together and focus on it, we can do something like that and become a city of the future for everybody, no matter if you go to college, if you don't, no matter what your goals are, we can help you accomplish them. Website too, or just say about
You can.
Okay.
Why should people, City of Pittsburgh, vote for you for mayor of City of Pittsburgh? Take 1 and 5 for.
I'm offering something new. I'm offering up new ideas. I'm offering up a new way of doing things. And that's not capping us to just one single party. That's opening up to tens of thousands of people who have left out of the conversation for far too long. If we tap into all these people with good ideas, we can get the city moving forward again. I'm a newcomer in this race. I have no political background. I'm beholden to nobody. I'm actually in this because I've just gotten frustrated. I got frustrated myself as a small business owner and a resident of the city. I've heard the frustrations, and that's the only reason I'm in this. I'm not in this for name recognition. I'm not in this for any other reason. I decided to run for the mayor's office because I want to actually make change. This is a chance to actually do it. And so many times there have been so many empty promises. I'm not full of empty promises. I'm transparent. You have a question, ask me. I'll tell you. I'll tell you what I think. I believe in transparency. I worked in media for a very long time, 15 years. I understand transparency. You need it to hold elected officials accountable. And I feel like that doesn't happen too often in our city because there's a lot of behind closed door meetings. I'm a new face. I'm excited about this. I believe our better days are ahead if we let them be ahead. And that means getting everyone back to the table. And that means making this place, a city where you can start your own business, grow successfully. You can get in the trades, work, have jobs so that you can, just take care of your own family. And I feel like if this is the time to do it, let's do it. I've heard so many times we don't have choices in the city. It's always one way or nothing. So let's change that. That's why I'm in this race. Again, I would appreciate your support come the primary, which is May 20th. And then hopefully along in the general. My name is Thomas West, and you can look up or email me through my website at west4mayor.com. That's west4mayor.com.